Hi, I'm Baltazar from Education Elements. I'm a former teacher and coach who spent the last couple years working with districts to redesign what teaching and learning looks like. From my experience as a teacher, as a coach, as a leader, I've had to think about the best ways in which to engage multiple stakeholders when we are reimagining what education looks like for our kids. So today I'm going to offer a look at the ways in which you can structure your different teams as you approach the strategic planning process. How many people should we include? How should we include them? How often should we meet? Let's talk about these big questions and some other considerations to keep in mind when it comes to the strategic planning process. One of my favorite things to do is go trekking. The last chance I got to do it was at the beginning of last year when I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. When I think about the strategic planning process, it reminds me a lot about some of the components of that journey. Firstly, the goal. It was a group of people moving from point A to point B, stopping intermittently along the way to pause, reset, and say, okay, do we have what we need? Are we doing this the right way? What adjustments do we have to make? The second thing that it made me think of is the roles that I saw play out. We had some novice climbers who had to get a little bit more guidance. We had some guides who helped forecast the path ahead, others who watched for mountain sickness from our team, and we had porters who specialized in helping make sure that carrying capacity was managed to ensure everyone's highest chance of success. The last thing is the reward, what I took away from that journey. It wasn't just that we were able to summit Mount Kilimanjaro, it was also the bonds and the connections I made with the entire team that helped me get there. When I think about the strategic planning process, all of those components ring true. The way you get from point A to point B, the team and the specific roles people play on that team, and the value you get not just out of what you achieve, but also the process you go through together as a team. A lot of teams start the strategic planning process by casting as wide a net as possible. We want to make sure we have as many people represented when we think about deciding the future of our district. And while that's a great start, we've also learned that it's important to take into account the interest and the influence of those different stakeholders that are being engaged, while maintaining a point of view about how many people are on these teams that we're building. Failure to do so can lead to delayed progress of teams moving too slowly, incomplete representation with voices being left out, or progress being made in the wrong direction. Taking a little extra time at the beginning to figure out how you'll engage with those different members of your district and community can set you up for success, not just in the product of your strategic plan, but also in the ever valuable process of it. At Education Elements, we think of the teams in the strategic planning process as layers of a feedback loop, one that generates ideas, presents proposals, and ultimately catalyzes change. We recognize that many people are invested in strategic plans, but oftentimes not everyone can be a part of the nimble decision-making body that the process requires. By outlining your teams in this way, we ensure as many voices as possible are included. We also get the chance to socialize our ideas early and often throughout the process. While we've named these teams, feel free to adapt them as you and your district see fit. The project team runs logistics and is ultimately responsible for the execution and the publication of the plan. They play a core role on the larger steering team. The steering team guides the process and incorporates stakeholder feedback. This team should be representative of background, tenure, and role, and should include your organizational leader like your superintendent. It's important to keep this team small enough to be nimble, but it's challenging, which is why we also have planning teams. The planning team includes stakeholders who are really engaged in the plan, but whose department or role may already be represented on the steering team. This is a larger team and plays a role in executing on the plan. Finally, we have our advisors. The advisory team offers subject matter expertise and support as time and interest will allow. Depending on what your district circumstances are, including your size, these teams can be customized to better fit your needs. But what's important is to make sure that you are engaging your stakeholders in teams that really purposefully include them. Kilimanjaro was one of the hardest treks I've ever done, and I know we were successful because of the specific roles and specific teams that we formed. Guides helped us traverse challenging paths, porters shouldered additional weight, and trekkers climbed within their limits. By focusing on our specific roles, we were able to optimize the experience and find group success. I think of trekking our way through the strategic planning process quite similarly. By having the right people on the right teams, we ensure that we are set up to envision the future that our districts deserve. Not only that, but by working within these teams, stakeholders are set up to lead key initiatives and to strengthen the fiber of the way that we work together. Have you started to think about who to involve in your strategic planning process? If so, have you thought about how you want to involve them? Which strategic planning teams fit best with the structure of your school district? As a quick recap, today we talked about the different teams involved in the strategic planning process. Remember, the way in which you engage your stakeholders is as important as the plan that you end the process with. Thanks so much for watching. For more content from Education Elements, be sure to follow us on Twitter and check out our website. If you enjoyed this content, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel.